Oh.
Bam,
Dive.
bam. I think we're live. Hopefully we're live. Hopefully people in the chat can go, we can hear you. Right. Welcome to Heavyweight Gaming. Happy G, whatever. We're looking at a rebrand. Might be Greg's Arrows by end of week. So, welcome to us. We play D&D, lots of it. We've been doing lots of stuff the last couple of weeks, so we've been really busy. We did a 24-hour stream last weekend for Jerry Green's dog rescue, and we raised £626, which was brilliant considering we started the stream with 50 quid in the bank, and 500 and odd pound later. Absolutely brilliant. So that was super cool. We got lots of love and thank you from Jerry Green's during the week. So thank you to any of you watching, listening, etc. If you donated, thank you. If you didn't, well, you should have done. How dare you? But yes, thank you very much. We are on social media. Just go into Google, type the word social media and Heavyweight Gaming, and you'll find us. It's a little bit wobbling there. It's going to need a bit longer. If you go boxing with Dom, it might get looser. Just saying, just putting it out there. So, go find us on social media, Instagram, Facebook and Twitter. We're on there. It's usually me talking about what we got planned, what we're writing about, what we're playing, when we're playing it, what we're raising for, etc, etc. And some random gravy comments now and then. Cuss! Gravy. So, and we're also sponsored by amazing people, because we're amazing and they're better than us, but we like to think we're better than them. And it's an ever constant circle of trying to discover who's better than the other. But we know Loki Battle Mats are amazing, and every Kickstarter they do gets immediately funded because they're amazing. Go check out their stuff. Absolutely amazing. Use them at the weekend. There you go. Whee! See, and Luke's modelled by our beautiful model. I should just, model. Thank you, Luke. Coyote Grey, you got any chibis hanging around? No? You can
Only on the overlay.
You can see the chibi. Go check out Lucky Bottom outside the site. They do digital and real versions of everything they do. Like I say, they've done sci-fi, cyberpunk, fantasy, every possible scenario you can think of. They've got it there. It's absolutely amazing. We used them at the weekend at GSCon, running our one shot. The maps were great. And the Skinny Minis, who don't sponsor us, they were really cool as well. So go check out Skinny Minis as well. We're sponsored also by Coyote Grey, who's responsible for the little chibi artwork slideshow that's going on. So go to the marketplace in Roll20, type in Coyote Grey, and you'll find over 1,000 chibi tokens. I own them all because they're amazing. I love them. I want more of them. So yeah, please check out Coyote Grey. If you like music stuff around your games at the table or online with your friends, and you can download the web player app, go check out Sirenscape. Incredible ambience setters. Regarding music and sound sets for Fire, Dragons of Doom, wonderful elven forests and dwarven feasts. Might have to find a dwarven feast. But yes, go check them out. They're amazing. And Ashana, who I'm pretty sure has been a sponsor from day dot of all of our channels, regardless of the ones that we got locked out of. But go check her out on Instagram and Twitter and Twitch. She's a very talented glass crafter. The monkey face is optional. But yes, go check her out. She's absolutely amazing. Super zen to listen to whilst you're doing your homework, reading a book, chilling out, escaping the kids, whatever it is you're doing. Go check her out. She's amazing. Roughworks Creative just got back from Canada. He's amazing. He's got a beautiful beard. He's done 3 push-ups this year and he's still chiseled. So yes, officially I hate him. But go check out his photo albums on Facebook. He's a very talented woodworker and leather worker. Literally rips the trees apart with his bare hands. I mean, it's not a monkey face, but it's close. So yeah, so that's it for like sponsors. But you can also go check out Bardic Inspiration, who do amazing nerdy stuff, especially their candles. Go check out their candles.
Oh, thank you.
They've got perfume now. Yeah, I mean, or whatever it is they call. The cool kids call it these days. Yeah, so if you want loaded dice, not that any mine are loaded, but I did roll a nat 20, the first roll of the 24-hour charity stream with a Bardic Inspiration dice, and it was one of my pink dice. I was very happy. It was to heal my friend, and I did 24 points of healing damage to his face. But anyway, moving on. I think that's it. Is that good? We ain't got any announcements right now because we've done GSCon, we've done the 24-hour charity stream. We've got a big one for next year that'll get announced in a couple of months. And we've got something else that we're just putting together that hopefully happen at the end of the year. But yeah, other than that, I think we're good for announcements. That's cool. Bits. If you want to donate 200 bits to this lot so they get a reroll, you can. They feel sorry for the monkey-faced players. Where's my little script?
I'm getting there. I always forget what it's roll or re-rolls, okay?
Do you
this
want...
one I forget. There you go.
Got the wrong one. Do you feel sorry for the adventurers? Monkey-faced donate 200 bits last year to give the party a reroll. They can't be used on the DM or death saving throws. They don't roll over to the following week, but there's no longer a cap. So, if you want to put your life savings into Ari's rolls, please do. Yeah.
I wouldn't. I mean, I walked past the dice at the weekend, and I cursed them on walking past them.
Oh, that was true. Tony was living their best life.
Tony was rolling amazingly.
Living their best nat 20s, natural 19s. Oh, wonderful. Mel walked past and breathed. That was it. All over.
Yeah.
3 nat 20s.
Right. So let me bring out the old Serine scape.
Yeah, we
Did you
had a
mention
lot
that when
of
you did
fun.
the sponsors?
What?
Did I what?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I blink, but I exist in a state of blink, so whether I'm on this plane of existence, hearing what people are saying at any one given point is a...
It's alright.
To be fair, I just went my way across the sponsors with AD doing it, so...
There we go. Right, so recap ahoy. After a massive battle with Calphias, wielder of Ravensbane, and the defeat. Oh, it's loud in my ears. Let's sort you out. Right. After a massive fight with Calphias, wielder of Ravensbane, you defeated them. A portal was open. Somebody tried to come through. Who knows who? Maybe a massively powerful bad guy. But, you know, we'll never know now. There was a wake / funeral held for those that fell defending the lock, whilst the party fought this great fiend upon the surface. There was also a wake / funeral held for the those known as the Vibrant, fae that were taken many a moon ago and corrupted by fiendish magics to be horrific, demonic fae killing machines. Conversations being had of what to possibly do next. There is talk of taking on Corbin Astaroth, the one responsible for the blood pillars that are currently placed deep within the lands of Ravenholm and allegedly hold the essences of the fae from the Copper Forest. There is talk of not Stefan but Stefan, Echo Stefan, from Good Evening Sagebum. Talk of Stefan, the evil version of Ari's brother from a different Echo realm. There was also talk of Ari's true brother. Stefan remained in the Echo realm and has aged at least 40 years, give or take. Selena, I nearly forgot your sister's name. Selena, I know, it's been a while. I read a lot of sisters' names. Selena, the sister of Caspian, has given you shelter for the evening, whether it be beneath the waters or a tent and fruits of the loch, to eat and not date night at all on the surface. You have discussed a few things, but it is essentially morning time. You've had your long rests wherever it is you so wish to sleep. The current state, you are more than welcome to say, oh, I'm off to the surface, I'm coming back down to the bottom, as you see fit. Don't feel as though, or where is everyone standing right now? If you want to talk to each other, please do. And the song of the loch continues all through the night and the morning and day, as if being sung by an ambient siren not far.
I think the original plan had been, back as we were kind of finishing off last session, was to sort out Ruby casting Tree Stride so that we could get Drea and Ari safely down under the water without Drea having to like go through the water to be down in the castle. Um,
Yeah, I had that written down.
Yep.
Because I am not touching that water.
Pretty chilly, to be fair. Oh god, I would love to be in like a frozen log right now.
Oh, such a mood.
So warm.
so I think we'll be going to try and get that facilitated. I think that's the first.
Unless Ruby says no and Xandria refuses, then that can happen as you both see fit. Ruby, as a reminder, just in case you haven't remembered, it's Midwinter.
I have, in fact, remembered that today is Midwinter's day. I believe the day before I told the party that come sunset I would need to be somewhere safe. Just a side note, it will need to be somewhere I can light a fire, so possibly not under a lock, but we'll see how that goes, because I can always pop back to the surface if we're still
Magic, yo.
Lockwood. But you'll find that this on Midwinter's Day, Ruby will be not dressed differently, but there is definitely a slightly different aesthetic going on here. She has her hair covered. She's wearing one of the dark cloaks that she owns. She is keeping her hair covered as much as possible, and where she would normally tie stick flowers or interesting leaves or cute feathers onto her clothes, it is small animal skulls, mice, birds. There is a definite, as much as a druid can do goth, that's the kind of vibe that we're rocking for Midwinter's Day.
Cool, very nice. So, do you cast Tree Stride? Or, I'm assuming Xandria... I'll assume that if Xandria said no, you don't cast it.
So I will have had to have gone to the tree in the castle courtyard, because it can only be a tree that I have laid my eyes upon.
Yep.
So we will have had to have
Yeah.
swum over there and swum back up to the surface. But yes, I will relay to Xandria and Ari that I have been sent to cast Tree Stride, so we can all congregate downstairs, for want of a better word, without Xandria having to do any swimming.
Sapphire throws her in the water.
Yeah.
There she goes again.
Can we skip her this time?
Wow. Can we skip her this time? Frickin'. Oh.
It was good having a monk in the party, wasn't it?
It would. Yeah. Remember when we had that monk? Oh my. Oh.
So, yeah, unless Xandria says I am absolutely not going down to the bottom of the lock, I don't care if I don't have to
No,
swim.
I'm
then.
good. I'll go. I'll go down.
So I will use the Mark of Autumn on my arm and create a portal, the other side of which will be the tree in the lock.
Cool. As the magic takes hold and the portal opens, who's the last person through?
Probably Ruby.
Give me a perception check, Ruby.
Ooh. That is a 21.
Just as the magic of the portal closes, you see the daisy that you put there the day before, and all of its petals are orange and fire red. And woof, you appear at the tree in the courtyard of the castle under the water.
You made it down.
Yeah. How was your rest?
Somber, but understandably so. I take it you had a pleasant evening.
Yes, very much so. It was a nice night. All things considering.
We should make plans for where we take this from here. I know Ruby needs to be here, or at least somewhere safe tonight. So I would suggest we head off first thing tomorrow. That gives us some time to be sure of what we're going to do.
It seems like a sensible idea.
So you'll stay another day?
One more.
Selena kind of steps back a little bit, a small smile on her face. So, where are you all going? What would you like to do for the day?
Does anyone have any?
Yeah, on what is essentially one of the druidic holy days, Ruby will probably rather be above water. So I'm going to have to use a spell slot now because I used Mark of Autumn and they closed behind me because I'm not Toodles yet. To get Xandria back up to the top. So I will probably go back up with them and stay above water.
When they go back up?
For the day, yeah.
To be fair, Sapphire will probably go with you. Sapphire would much rather be amongst trees than underwater.
Okay.
So
It's just the two of you going up because you're not the sword.
I mean, yeah. Unless anyone else was going up too.
Well, I mean, Xandria is going to have to get back up somehow. And if I'm opening a portal, I might as well save the energy swimming. Because I assume Xandria isn't going to want to stay underwater for longer than she has to.
So whilst Andrea's underwater, what's the plan? Or are you just teleporting straight back up there?
No, Ruby will just wait around until...
Also, Ari can technically cast a message to you 120 feet away, so...
I think you might be more than 120 feet down. And obstructed by walls and stuff. I don't know. I'm not 100% on how message works. But we need to come up with a plan of what we do next. And if
Well, we're all downstairs.
In any case, for the immediate day, Ruby's not going to be like a particularly active presence. It's a somber time of year for her, so she will pretty much just be waiting until she's needed to cast a spell. So if we're having a conversation, there's nothing particularly
planning, and I think Kess is wanting to spend more time with Selena before they have to head off. I don't know what the rest of the party have planned, if anything. Anything, guys?
Not
until sunset. As I said, Ruby, this isn't midsummer where Ruby started drinking the second there was a fleck of sunlight above the horizon. This is a day of like solemn.
So Ruby's pretty chill, preparing herself for the night. Kess, you're likely to hang out with your newfound sister unless the party requests your presence for something else. Sapphire, I know you're going to go back to the surface when it comes to it, but whilst you're down under the sea, is there anything that you wish to do? Prod? Bind yourself to?
Just try and steal everything in the vault, it'll be fine. Sapphire will probably... I don't know.
It doesn't have to be a perfect timetable. I'm just getting things of the day.
At some point during the day, Sapphire will probably take some time to himself, go and meditate, try and see if he can get in contact with Saisurin.
Funny that.
He's not... I mean, the metagamer in me is like, he's going to try and contact Sensei Rin right now.
Just so the stream knows, we played a one-shot at the weekend, and somebody might have come up in the one-shot because Adi likes to link all of his things.
Yeah, we had a bit of an encounter with Sensei Rin, but Sapphire wouldn't know anything about that. But yeah, he will try and contact Sisserin and see what's going on with the cure currently.
Okay. Harry, what's your plans for the day? Again, it doesn't have to be a perfect timetable, just things you want to achieve of the day.
Harry is probably gonna have a discussion with Selena at some point. It's gonna be relatively short. And is more kind of focused on wanting to try and find where Stefan might be. So might be sitting and like maybe making a little list of where he thinks Stefan might actually be right now.
Okay. And Sandria?
That could be part of the planning, yeah.
Yep. Sandria?
To be honest, Sandra doesn't really have a lot that she needs to do right now, or like, so she's just kind of gonna spend the day relaxing, probably reflecting on the whole. What?
I said shit the bed.
She's gonna relax. She's gonna reflect on the stuff that happened in Sarot with Malika and everything, and then obviously contemplate on this whole woodcutter bullrig bullshit that she's kind of getting herself into.
Don't know what you're talking about.
Don't know what you're talking about now.
Cool. So, if you do want a moment together throughout the day to plan, do so now, and then we'll do all your little individual bits.
Oh. Gather around a table, everyone.
Is this a private affair, or may I sit in?
I have no issue if the others don't.
No. I trust who you trust, generally.
Selena just sits nicely at a chair, pulls it up to the round table.
So, first thing that needs to be cleared. The other Stefan. And where Nikolai is. Harry?
I think last we heard, they're off the north coast. Well, Stefan at least had been spotted off the north coast, but that was a time ago now. If I remember rightly.
I have spells for finding people or finding an object like the wooden sword that we know would be with one of them, but they only work over a certain distance, so we'd have to have somewhere to start.
It's risky with Stefan as well. The powers that they have.
Which honestly would be why I would try to find Nikolai.
They'll be in the same place. The only... I think they need the Stefan who has come back here needs Nikolai. I don't know why. But
Nikolai disappeared when we fought and did not reappear when they sailed off. So could well be on that ship or have trouble with, so it's really definitely worth. I agree with trying to find Nikolai or Nikolai's sword, but yeah, I agree with trying to find Nikolai rather than trying to find Stefan. I think Stefan will just rebuff it completely.
is it worth, when trying to find Nikolai and this other Stefan, is it worth seeking assistance from one of the magic colleges? See if he's possibly already tried to make contact there using your brother's face.
That's a good idea.
He's interested in being even more powerful than your brother was, that would be
We were told too.
what I would try.
We were told too, were we not, that our best means of fighting him would be to weaken his magic.
If we went to the Darshal Edusian, then
The
we
schools,
could.
like,
Yes.
there will be many learned people there. They will have surely meddled with things like that.
And as a side benefit, we can ask questions about the pillars there too. I've still got the sketches of the things from the pillars. If we travel to the, I hope I am saying it right, the Darshal Edusian, then we can ask questions.
Which is the wizard schools?
It's the wizard school in Ravenholm. I figured that's a better option than going to Retoria or.
Oh,
Okay.
I just had
Yeah.
no idea what it was called.
Oh, I'm sorry. It was one of the things that it was one of the places I was told to potentially go ask when I was seeking the cure. That's the reason I was mentioning it back when we all first met. Still has a bit of a weird side glance at Alexandria. But yeah, I didn't even manage to get to the Kithwall Edustian, which is the one in Vey, but Ravenholm seemed like a better shot.
No time like the present.
If I remember rightly. It's not far from, not too far from the wall.
It also makes a lot of sense for both Stefan issues and pillar issues. Two birds with one stone.
Hopefully it won't have been hit too hard by the demons if it's close to the wall.
Also a good point.
We won't know until we try or hear from someone else. Night, Sam.
Night, Sam.
It's a nightmare.
So we have a starting point. How do we intend to get there?
Where is it? Or what's the nearest?
Ari, you would probably be...
Out of character, Mel is looking.
Looking
Where's
at
the
the
map?
map. Looking at the map.
Oh no, it's not on the map, god damn it.
Is it not on the map?
Check.
80.
The towns are all on the map, but...
It is in the town of Alhofen.
Yeah,
Oh, so-
well,
so it's
South
Oh,
coast.
it's south. There you go.
But
I was
not-
right!
Yeah, you're right. It isn't far from the wall.
Well, we did. That's why originally we intended to go to the wall, was because we were like, we'll go to the wall, and then we'll go and check in on the family, and then we'll go down to the wizard college. Yeah.
We got busy.
Echo
We got a little bit busy.
Well, with the trees, it must be a tree I'm familiar with. I could take us as far as the wall. I think also near the wall, wasn't there one of those circles that people use?
There are transport circles near the wall. Yeah.
But then
I
maybe
mean,
maybe
Castle
the
Fort
wizard
or
school
whatever.
has its own transport circle.
Well, if you can get us to the wall, and then we could potentially use a transport circle directly from the wall to the school.
may I be the person, sorry, to point out that the wall might not be the best layover point? What with the demons?
Just loaded up roll 20.
You said we wouldn't need it.
Yeah.
If it was possible, say, to go to the City of Ravens that we have been to a few times, I would imagine that the capital would have some way of contacting long range, their most prestigious magical college. Yeah,
The palace had gardens. I think I recall at least one ornamental tree there.
it would be an option.
Probably
That's
safer,
the
as you
option,
say. I only say because when Ari told us where it was, wall was the closest place that I've been
Oh
to.
no, it
Yeah.
makes sense. It's somewhere we've been. There's trees
Okay.
you've communed with.
You're right, though. We don't know
I
what
don't
the
want to
situation
drop
is.
ourselves in the middle of.
A
Well,
demon
one, the
army.
tree might no longer be there. It might be the middle of a camp, and the camp might not be on our side.
No, that's a fair point.
So we have the outlines of a plan.
I suppose. That's
Or
all
at
we could
least-
ask for.
A starting point. Selena,
Yes.
I was wondering if you could confirm something for me. You said who was it that would be able to open the vault and remove items?
Anyone of our bloodline and those that carry the magic of song. So, there are many people out there who can sing inspiration into folks on a level. There is a difference between someone shouting "stick together" and those that can sing a melody that would truly inspire.
I was just curious as to how secure.
The vault is
Yes.
against Fae, it's very secure, as you saw the door. Non-Fae, if they are able to reach the door, they can open it. And if they carry the power of magical song within them, there's a chance they could, but... well,
Small number of people, if anyone.
Ari, I think there's something we should maybe leave here that's been in your possession for a while. And he'll kind of nod down to the rapier.
Sapphire, like, hand up to mouth, like, is surprised.
charisma saving throw, Harry.
Oh boy. That's a
Yeah,
six.
Ruby's eyes are doing the cat watching the tennis on the
That's
telly,
a
like.
6, guys. That's a 6. Goodbye.
Oh no. Bye bye.
Oh shit.
Until told otherwise, Harry, however they word it, the answer is no. You may word that as Harry sees fit. Carry on.
Wow. Okay. That's fun.
Nope.
I was just kind of like, seems a little off. Like, I could open it somewhat, and I have very little magical influence.
Ari, you contain the magic gifted to you by a dragon which should not exist from all that we've heard. I would not begin to say that you were of average anything. I would not say that that rapier was of average anything, but it's dangerous specifically to a member of our number.
As Cass and Ari argue, can I roll an insight check on Ari, please?
Why?
What are you trying to insight from it? I think is what he means.
Why?
From what Ruby's gleaned of the situation, it doesn't seem right to her that Ari wouldn't do anything to distance the sword from Xandria. So I am looking to see if something is
He's given a
influencing
perfectly
his
valid.
decision.
He's given a perfectly valid argument so far.
Nothing,
Ruby disagrees.
there is nothing Harry has said that is
Out of the ordinary.
remotely out of the ordinary.
Yep.
So hold on to your insight.
I think it would be careless for us to not put distance between yourself and that sword and Rhea at this time.
just don't think it's the best place for it.
And by your side is a better place?
I mean, I hate to be the counter argument here, but he hasn't tried to kill me yet with it, brother.
Has he not?
Well, not successfully, anyway.
So he needs to be successful before this becomes a problem, is that right?
He's not even got remotely close.
The fact that he's got anywhere near close, remotely or otherwise, is far too close.
Now roll an insight check, Ruby.
That is 15.
Xandria's words of not even remotely close, that is not the look that Harry's eyes are portraying.
Ruby is staring Harry down.
At the end of the day, if he doesn't want to put it in the vault because he believes that the vault is not secure enough, then let it be. We'll find somewhere else to put it.
I feel it's less that Ari doesn't feel that the vault is secure enough and more that Ari does not want to be partied with it. Which...
I mean, that is somewhat understandable, I suppose.
Not if he professes to care for you as much as he does.
Is this true, Harry?
Ruby is like locked onto you, like staring like a snake, not even blinking, just...
Sapphire just looks hella uncomfortable. Just like, oh, this is rough.
Selena, you see the stones on the hill?
Yeah, the
Of the rapier.
sunstones, yes.
Yeah. Each bright one is a soul that Ari has promised to that weapon. And Drea is one of those souls.
Not doing very good on the whole promising thing.
There's a very, thank you. There's a very confused and not distraught, but there is a element of sorrow to Selena's eyes. Why would you do such a thing, Harry?
Only one of them was promised intentionally.
But it's still been promised, Ari.
How did you promise the other one, if not intentionally?
I was tricked into Xandria, and then the other... I think it was... willed into being by anger?
Who or what tricked you?
A Nixie.
Yeah, out of character.
I'm
It
like,
was-
Mel's trying to remember. I'm like,
out of character, it wasn't a Nixie, it was the Nixie.
The Nixie. Yeah, I remember that.
Nixie patient 0.
It was a Nixie.
She looks at Kess and then looks back at you. You were tricked by a fae?
Yeah.
Where is the fae now?
Beneath the wall.
That giggle in the
Long
trap
time ago,
was
guys. It's about
perfect time.
40 seconds ago.
Just for a note taker.
know.
You know everyone else's life.
yeah.
Yeah, it was beneath the wall. She lived
I've got like
in the
4 books worth of stuff. Do you really want me to go through it?
Blame Luke for asking about the sword.
I mean, I knew it was going to.
it was in the
Yeah, it was underneath the wall, wasn't
Yeah.
it? Yeah. It was, so yeah, it'll kind of go to go. It was underneath the ivory wall. Or at least what was of the ivory wall. I don't know what remains. But they were under there.
I would never encourage the the death of one of my own, but if there is no one to hold you to the contract, then the contract cannot be fulfilled. So either you could do as my brother Kesvion suggests, and hide from it. You could try to vanquish this Nixie, or you take Xandria's sword.
Isn't the contract with the sword, not with the Nixie?
That's what I
Sorry.
was thinking.
I don't truly understand. It's just something that, from my understanding, Ari is compelled.
What's
To
in the
fulfill.
sword?
It is. If it is a untrue promise, then there are ways around such magical. I have spilt water everywhere.
It's a good thing we are beneath.
Underwater.
In a law.
Yeah.
Talk amongst yourselves, kids.
Yeah.
Please hold. Your call is
Difficult.
important
Point
to
to
us.
us.
The one time you'd knock over a chalice would be the one time you're in a bubble of air, wouldn't it?
It is an untrue promise, and therefore one that can be. It was a manipulation of one's honesty, and it's not a exact science, but just because Ari spoke the words doesn't mean Ari made the promise. And the sword is a magical item, correct? Or does it hold sentience?
Staring at Harry.
What did the nice butch armourer lady say? We went. This is out of character. Sorry, we
so
went
confused right now. I was like, going to talk about Tails, and I was like, what? You've just thrown me off completely.
Sorry, no, we went to that tavern and we met the
Lady that made the sword.
armourer who made the finest
Who made
everything
my sword,
in.
Yeah.
Anastasia.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
she examined it, didn't she? So
She gave you, or at least what she believed. So go on and say what you were going to say, Harry.
What's my train of thought now?
Tails.
Sorry.
You said you were going to talk about Tails.
I've lost everything. My brain's not working today. I'll just kind of look back at Selena and just be like, kind of sentient. Like, there's a being that has had the sword in the past called Tales of Wonder. I don't think he's in the sword anymore.
Well, then maybe it is them that you need to break the promise with. I don't know. It's never heard of them. What a shame. I don't think it's as ironclad as it may come across. I've spent my entire life doing similar. It's kind of adjusts herself, as is one's nature of being a water fae. Convincing those that it is their decision to step into a place of darkness, but is they believe to be euphoric. It's not difficult of those that are their hearts are elsewhere. And she looks at Xandria and Harry and then back at Harry. The vault would keep it safe, but I don't know if its hold on you is beyond the physical sitting on your hip. Give me another charisma save, Harry. You do have a reroll from Sageblood.
Got 14.
Do you want to stick with that, or do you want to reroll?
I'll stick with it.
I mean, you're welcome to use it, in my eyes, but it's up to you.
Doesn't mean it's going to be any better though. That's
No.
the thing.
You sticking with it?
Yeah.
Till I tell you otherwise, the answer's still no.
Okay.
How close have you come? Again, this is a one-sided staring match.
How close have I come to what?
To using the sword when it's asked.
I kind of just glance away.
Look at me, Aristotle. How close have you come to using the sword?
Mum voice.
Aim. It's like Jeannie knows me and goes, oh no, oh no, I know what to do. He'll meet her eyes. And he'll say once or twice, but blatantly try to lie.
You trying to lie?
Yeah.
Give me a deception
With the roll.
check.
Yep. I mean, apparently we don't want to do this. That is actually a 14 with a plus 11 to deception.
Oh, Jesus.
What? Where's your bonuses when you want to do something good for the party?
Yeah.
Insight check, Rubes.
Standards of
Yeah,
lies,
that's
given
it.
that we deal with lies.
Yeah.
Might not be enough, but I rolled an 22.
I mean,
Might
with
not be.
14 are your deception.
It's versus 14, so yeah.
Oh, was it 14 total?
But
Oh, I
Oh,
thought
okay.
it was 14 plus.
14
11.
total.
No, it's, it's
Still.
plus 11. Plus 11 is still pretty badass. I mean, if you'd have rolled like...
Oh, yeah.
yeah,
Like,
yeah,
I thought
yeah,
that was
yeah.
14
Yeah,
plus 11. I was
11.
like,
In which case
Ah.
yeah.
just didn't quite make it. But yes, my
oh no, it wasn't 14 plus 11.
No,
It was 14.
my total was 14, so he's
Yeah,
lying to you.
that's what Ruby's
Yeah.
saying. Ruby thought
So-
she hadn't quite made it with 21, but then realised. So yeah, you are aware that Harry, 1, didn't answer your question of how close he came. 2, just gave an absolute lie of once or twice.
mum glare intensifies. Like she doesn't say anything. She doesn't even look away from you. You are starting to get, you know, that vibe I mentioned before when she gets angry and whatever kind of like natural disaster might befall where you grew up, you start to feel like, you know, when the wind changes and there's going to be a sandstorm, you know, the way the clouds look when there's going to be a blizzard, you know, when in Ravenholm, I suppose, when everything's going to flood because it just never stops raining.
I mean, he's literally seen it when you've released a sleet storm or become an asthma.
Sapphire,
But yeah, that
give me a
kind
perception
of
check.
Oh,
that
damn.
kind of ozone tinted
Fuck all my dice.
aura.
I can't help you.
Get out some of these nice nat ones that I got from Bardic Inspiration.
Yeah.
One of
and
us.
that's not a deception check.
Yeah.
Oh shit. That's pretty good. That is a 26 to perception.
Harry's got his hand on the hilt of the rapier. There's someone/something else in the room.
Like if anyone's paying any attention to Sapphire, like first stands on end. Sapphire's gonna ready a grapple if Ari makes any like attacking motions or like negative motions towards the party. And he's just gonna gently say, Ari, you don't need to touch your sword right now. You're among friends. Whatever is in the sword is here with us. I can sense it.
Ruby's eyes flicker to Sapphire but land right back on Ari.
Yeah, people looking at Sapphire like it's like Sapphire's about to go into battle. They've seen this before.
At this point, Xandria's literally just leaning against the walls, arms crossed, just like, this is a fucking shit show.
Ruby's about to throw some kind of wing-bearing, sleet-storming rage tantrum.
Xandria, give me a Constitution saving throw at disadvantage.
Disadvantage. We're gonna use. We're gonna use the Bardic Inspiration dice. We're gonna use the Ari dice.
Oh shit!
The Ari dice.
Ari dice.
I'm gonna try and find what actual.
What you get for naming a set of dice for yourself. Constitution saving throw.
I'm still pissed that Ozra got a name before Sapphire did.
Hey, my con's +4 now.
What?
So
Sapphire dice.
got a dice long time ago.
Oh no, I know. I'm only kidding because
no.
Sapphire dice were a thing before Sapphire.
Oh no, where did it? There it is.
Disadvantage, Jude.
Disadvantage. Oh,
Yeah.
And somewhere safe, naturally. This is
Want
tense,
that
yo.
reroll?
Honestly, I don't know how,
So
I don't know how to keep Xandria alive.
On my disadvantage, I got a 5. I have a +4.
So you got a 9?
No. I have a
one.
+4.
Oh, he rolled a-
on
Oh, I
5.
see.
I rolled a nat 1.
Are
on
you
my
using the reroll
disadvantage.
again? Are you using
I'll
the
use the
reroll?
reroll.
Reroll,
Yeah, I used the reroll.
if you please. Don't have to
9.
vivify.
Okay,
Fucking con rolls, man, every time. 9.
cool, noted.
Thanks. Carry on.
Sam, I love you. Let's go, evil sword.
Evil sword. Doing evil things.
Oh, that's Sam. Oh.
It's Nalene, Sam, yeah. So, Sapphire said, you know, you don't need to touch your sword, you're amongst friends. What next?
Ari is listening and is going to attempt to take his hand off the sword.
Your hand comes away from the sword.
Okay. Still getting eyeballed by Ruby.
Ruby doesn't like being lied to very much.
Or bigger.
Ruby, give me a perception check. Go on, guess.
No, I'll wait till you've done what you're doing.
That's a 10.
Cool. Go on, guess.
I don't think you have the level of control over this that you claim you do. You willingly endanger us. You willingly endanger Xandria. How can we trust you when you do that?
Ruby, you hear a choking noise from over your shoulder. And having a quick glance, you see Xandria, who was just resting against the wall, on her knees now, clutching at her throat, gasping for air.
Fuck Ari, medicine check, please.
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, I think
Sapphire won't take his eyes off Harry.
That is a dirty 20.
Hell yeah.
Xandria's choking to death. Guess?
if Ruby's rushing over to help her, Kess will be right beside, trying to like get her into like a position where she's not going to be like on her back, trying to sort of encourage her to cough up as much of it as possible to try and clear her
Ruby will
airways.
basically push her to her knees and have her like leaning forward.
On your
It's
20,
basically
Ruby.
waiting for Kess's mark to try and
Heimlich.
dislodge anything. Yeah.
on your 20,
Yeah.
it's not that she's gasping for air. It's like it's stopped. Like whatever is choking her or holding her there is completely cut off air. It's not choking and the odd bit of air getting through. She's completely cut off from breathing. Selena rushes over to your side, Kess, and puts her hand on Xandria and is there if needs be. Harry,
Can
go on.
I try to cast protection from good and evil?
Yes.
Just an absolute ditch attempt to do anything if
Oh, I have.
Dun, 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 dun.
One willing creature you touch, concentration up to 10 minutes. Until the spell ends, one willing creature you touch is protected against certain types of creatures, aberrations, celestials, elementals, fae, fiends, and undead. The protection grants several benefits to creatures of these types have disadvantage on attack rolls against the target. The target cannot be charmed, frightened, or possessed by them. If the target is already charmed, frightened, or possessed by such a creature, the target has advantage on any new saving throws against this relevant effect. It's not strictly what she's going through, but it's literally all that he can think to do at this point. He's not a doctor or a healer, but they know there's something other about what's inside her.
So, as you call forth your innate magics from training or just existing, you cast your protection from good and evil upon Xandria. Xandria's back arches, her arms go out either side, full-on exorcist moment of just as she levitates about 3 foot off the floor. And as she is gasping, you start to see the rainbow-esque oil black tar just kind of seep from eyes, edge of the lips, out from under her fingernails, as she is just in some sort of state of horror. Harry, charisma saving throw at disadvantage.
Oh God.
While he does that, Ruby will, pulling all sorts of random druidic knowledge from anywhere. Selena, this is an odd question, but do you have diamonds?
Maybe somewhere. It's not, gemstones are not really a thing, but maybe. Why?
Because she might not survive this.
I will.
No, well,
I
possibly,
can go look now
but
if you need me to, or
if you have 100 gold's worth, there is a spell I can do, basically Greater Restoration. Shorthand, but in RP with diamonds, I can produce positive energy that it will undo things like charming and petrifying, and I don't know what this is, but if the spell is powerful enough, it might take hold through this. If you want the out of character blurb of Greater Restoration.
I've got it.
Okay.
No need.
I can go look.
If she doesn't survive, I'll need a lot more diamonds.
And Seren into the water and goes about the halls of the castle looking for as many diamonds as she can. Harry, what did you get on your disadvantage?
These are reroll as well, and I've still only got 8.
Cool. Sapphire, attempt your grapple check, please.
Oh shit. Okay.
That's
just
the big lad.
Athletics.
That's straight athletics against.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's a pretty good one though. Let's use my other dice.
I mean,
now.
you're twice the size of him and a monk.
It's a
Harry's a swashbuckler.
plus
Oh,
9.
funny
21.
feeling I can roll
21.
acrobatics,
So you roll
which is-
acrobatics, Harry.
Yeah, that's where it's going to be a difficult one.
That's gonna be difficult.
Oh no.
Oh no.
See, this is the one time
This will be
you
the one where you get good.
fucking roll good.
Yeah.
14 plus 13.
Oh, fucking hell.
27.
Jesus. Yeah, beats
So,
it.
because Sapphire's twice the size of you, he's unable to grab the little nippy swashbuckler who's really, really good at one-on-one situations. So, as Sapphire notices, reacts, sprints forward, grabs you, you completely slip under Mech the 10-15 feet across the floor with your rapier, and you attack Xandria with advantage because she's considered restrained right now.
Sake.
Now you want to roll badly again.
Advantage though.
Yeah.
Rapier stats.
I don't know, but
25
you were
to hit.
boasting about a plus 13.
25 to hits. You've got advantage to do your sneak attack.
Fuck's sake.
Oh, shit.
I do have Revivify, it's just a little bit more than 100 gold's worth of diamond I need.
It's
what
not, Ari, you're gonna
It's
need
not.
Revivify for.
Mm-mm.
Do you mean it's not Drea?
It's not Drea, you're gonna need Revivify for!
Hang on, what is my sneak attack? Completely, for fuck's sake. Right, Jesus.
So
When
much
we
dice.
murder
So-
their sister. Fuck my life. 12. 19 points of damage.
2 seconds. Cool. I just needed to check something.
Sorry,
What's
I just
the
fully read the fucking blurb for Great Restoration. Sorry.
Can you
I know what you were reading. Hang on,
Read-
let me get my blurb up.
get your sword out, Harry?
Yep.
That's the problem we've been having.
If you score a critical hit against a creature that has fewer than 100 HP,
Cool, that's
you will
fine.
succeed.
You want a crit? That's cool. That's a bit I wanted to check.
Yep. That's why I was just double checking as well. I was like, oh shit. It's a crit. It's gotta be a crit.
Cool. Is this the first time you've hit a creature that your sword's been promised to?
Yep.
Cool. Can you roll a d100, please?
Boy. 54.
54.
Oh.
I love my job.
To be
It's
fair, that
only
might have...
coming for about 20 sessions anyway. Every time. Fucking charisma saving.
Swear to God, if you say we're going on a break, I am coming to your house.
Yeah, he's coming for you.
So, Ari, as you see your opportune moment, unable to resist the sword over the last 10-15 minutes of this conversation back and forth, and you're always aware when you can't resist it. It's not like it's your own decision. You answer your questions and such, and then it's as if released, and you know that it wasn't you, but it was you. Seeing the opportunity is too much. It overwhelms you, and you dart forward. Sapphire tries to reach out at you, and you just kind of half palm away from Sapphire, using his bulk to essentially springboard forwards. The rapier comes out as Kesfion and Ruby are distracted by whatever's going on with Andrea. Your rapier point goes through a small gap where her half plate armor is across her body and such, and you just find that perfect gap, as you've done most of your life when fighting with your rapier. The blade sinks deep, and the sunstone that was promised to Xandria bursts into colour of orange and yellow light and remains intact, but is glowing like a mother kipper. And you hear a voice just rumble through your mind, and you do not have time to think. But it is a question that is asked to you. You or her? I'm going to count to 5, and you've got to give me your answer. 1. You go with you?
Yep.
Cool.
God.
Oh God!
Oh God.
As the blade pierces Xandria, none of you hear the question or the voice in Ari's head, but the black-coloured liquid that is coming out of Xandria's fingertips, her eyes, her mouth, out of her ears, starts to run down her neck, over the armour, and starts to congeal and form around where the rapier pierces Xandria Summerbreeze. It crawls and slimes and pulls and tugs up the rapier onto Ari's arm and begins to seep into Ari. And Ari consumes whatever it was that was inside Xandria. Xandria, you collapse to the floor for the first time in living memory, and you are not a child fair. You have the lungs of a marathon runner. You can breathe. The oxygen is pure. You've never felt this fresh. I mean, fae embody the living elements of life.
Yeah.
And you are summer incarnate right now, the peak of summer at its peak. Ari, you stumble backwards, you drop the rapier for the first time when you can remember. And you stumble back into the table. You're all sat around, just clutching at your throat, hardly being able to breathe. And you just feel exhausted. You currently have 2 levels of exhaustion. Selena still hasn't returned. The rapier's on the floor. Ari is crumpled against the chair. Xandria, you've still taken 19 points of damage.
I know damage.
But you, right now it feels as if you were hit by a fly. There's no feeling of pain I mean, you are aware of it, but you are so elated right now that it's not worth even acknowledging.
Kess will kick the rapier out of the way, probably more towards Ruby, so that it's out of Ari's reach.
So if I see Ari obviously like doing all this, the whole I have the lungs of a runner, blah blah blah, and I see Ari, I am going to immediately run across to Ari and drop to my knees. If he's on the floor, he's on the floor, isn't he?
He's on his way,
yeah. And I'm just gonna catch him in my arms. Then if he's on his way down, I'm gonna fucking zoom, catch him.
It's old man fall. Like they know they're going down.
Yeah.
But they can't stop.
Yeah. So I will. Yeah. I'll go and
Just
gently lay him down with me.
Just a little thing. Sapphire's gonna touch Iron Rebuke and detect Fiend.
Nothing.
Okay, that rules something out at least.
No one touch the rapier. Ruby, please guard it. Then Kessel.
Ruby stands with just a boot across the blade.
Will attempt to assist Ari with a medicine check.
While they're doing that, Ari, you are in and out of 2 worlds. This one, where you can see through blurred vision as if someone has thrown ash in your eyes, and you get that grey and black sort of flickering, almost static across your vision, but just through it you can see Kesfion, the silver eyes of Kes, and the bright summer gold eyes of Xandria. As you're on your, but you all feel incredibly weak. And the other world you keep flickering in and out of is when them 2 disappear. You see a world of colourlessness.
Yeah.
A colourless world.
That works.
All right, cool. We'll go with that. It is grey. It is dull and dim, and it is an endless desert. Give me a perception check. Sorry, Cass.
No, 21 on the medicine
21
check.
medicine. Cool.
Perception.
Yeah, perception for you, Ari.
Dirty 20.
You see two figures on a sand dune of pale anything really, just pale and grey. One of them is the probably only glimpse of colour down here, and it is a skin tone of nightshade blue. Their hair is long and black, and they are dressed very well. And they are staring up at someone who is maybe a foot taller than them, in this beautiful raven home long jacket, all the filigree and gothic sort of like that patterning across it, again with no colour to it. Their hair is long, holds a grey to it but a different shade to the world around you, and they're just staring down at the pointy-eared, nightshade-skinned elf. They are... It seems impossible that you should be able to see them, so for the distance they are from you, but you recognise these... Well, you don't recognise... You recognise one of them, the other one you do not recognise. And you are flicking in and out of seeing Kess and Xandria and these two humanoids having a conversation miles away in this grey desert. And your medicine check was 21, yeah?
Yep.
Ari looks as you've seen Xandria on her worst days with this particular ailment. But you don't know if it's because he's human or if Xandria, you know, the summer fair, you've no idea. So many theories going through your head, but Ari looks written off. There is a hell of a lot of similarities between what Xandria demonstrated or showed when she was younger and when she first discovered that swimming was not for her, and you've been in this situation many a time as Xandria's learnt to deal with whatever it was that she carried with her. You do not, you feel warmth from Xandria, and I mean like fire heat. Catching her eye, the gold of her eyes is brighter, her hair has a beautiful like conker brown shine to it. She is, I don't mean celestial, but she's radiant. She's very, very present, and Ari looks a shadow of his former self, somewhat smaller, thinner. The hair is not quite as well done on a morning, but Ari looks rough. But doesn't seem to be dying.
Kess will help Drea kind of heft Ari up and move him over to, if there's like couches or something, so he's like over there on his side on something a bit more comfortable. There's
a long couch beneath the tapestry of the Nerakai family.
We'll move him there then.
Make sure he's on his side, etc.
Yeah, in case he needs to vomit up goo.
You don't even struggle at all, Xandria. There is renewed vitality, and if possible, Ari might be lighter.
Once we kind of get him settled on the couch and make sure that he's on his side, Xandria will stay kneeled, sort of like towards his head, just kind of like hand on his hair, just gently stroking. Just, you are a fucking moron.
Give me another perception check, Harry. You can hear Xandria's voice, but it is through, like, as if you're on the other side of glass.
22.
22? The taller humanoid that's talking to the nightshade-skinned elf. Their ears elongate and fur, and their face forms, and they form a snout, and you see a woven head stood in this very, very expensive Raven home fashion. Their golden eyes, the secondary colour you see in this place, and they stand with their clawed, furred hands in front of them, and they just shoo the nightshade elf away, and the nightshade elf just turns into sand and is gone on the dunes. The golden eyes turn and look towards you. There is a growl and a sound of satisfaction, and they shoo you away, and they too become sand on this grey desert, and you are left in the room with Caspian and Xandria, or at least Xandria pretty close, and she is angelic almost, but you no longer see the grey sand, just a static ash in your eyes that you try to blink away, but it doesn't seem to go. Selena comes rushing back through the water. What's looking around? Oh my! And looks across at Xandria and Harry. She's got 2 diamonds in her hand. Ruby, these are all I can find. They are. I prize them from some rings, but those at market may find they are expensive. But I don't know if it'll do what you need.
Out of character, is that roughly 100 gold's worth of diamond?
Yeah, it'll be enough to do what you need to do with.
Yeah. Thank you. She'll hold her hand out, but sort of like she doesn't really like. Cass asked very nicely for her to guard this sword. She doesn't just want to like.
Sapphire will go over and stand with her. Sapphire was planning on protecting her if she started doing any spells anyway, so that works.
Yeah, released from immediate guard duty, Ruby will go and take the diamonds and thank Selena for them and start. She'll find a seat at the table and start riffling through the pack, and the travel mortar and pestle comes out, and she'll start preparing the components for a greater restoration spell.
Okay.
Because as Luke quite rightly said, it ain't Xandria we're gonna need it for.
Ari, you are now able to talk if you so wish, but there is still that element of they're on the other side of thick glass when you hit. You struggle to hear anyone else but Xandria's voice. Even though it's still muffled, Xandria comes through a lot clearer. I think you're muted, man.
No,
All
just
right,
being
cool.
quiet.
Oh, okay.
So quiet we couldn't hear.
Dramatic pause, AD, for God's sake. It's a dramatic pause.
The lips were
Being
moving.
quiet, trying to think what to say. My brain
Sapphire's
was
not the
prepared
only
for
one
this.
with dramatic pause.
Wee. T-shirt.
Toe beans, toe beans, toe beans, toe beans.
Don't you take my toe beans from me. What?
It'll kind of like, you'll see him kind of just shake his head and like keep rubbing his eyes as though like he's trying to clear his vision. Just kind of like, Sandra, you there?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm just gonna like hold Ari's face just so like his eyes are directed straight at Xandria so that like he knows where he needs to look.
I'm sorry, it wasn't me.
I'm mad at you, but I'm not mad at you for stabbing me. I'm mad at you for taking something from me that wasn't yours to take. You had no right. Should have just let it be, Ari. You should have just let it be. I've lived with this for hundreds of years. I know how to deal with it. And now we're gonna have to watch you suffer. And it's not easy.
Is it a curse?
It's not that simple, Ruby.
Very well. A spell I can... so it's rude to talk about him, so she's kind of like talking to Ari but clearly giving this information to everyone. I can make you less tired than I can see. I see that drained a lot from you. With this spell I can reduce that. or I can try to lift a curse or an attunement to a cursed item.
The second option won't work. The first one might help him get some of his oomph back quicker.
She'll take that under advisement, but she's also kind of looking to Ari to see if he says the same thing, because he's the one who's going to take a couple of diamonds to the face in a minute.
T-shirt.
Sneak
feel
attack
like
diamonds to the
Ari-
face.
After kind of having all this, and then after having like Xandria right there, is obviously able to only hear everyone else kind of very, very faintly, and is probably not even really listening to what Ruby's saying. So he's probably more kind of focused on Xandria and what Xandria said back to Ruby, and it's just like, what's happening?
Ruby may be able to cast a spell that will help shake off some of the wariness that you're currently experiencing. And from experience myself, I would suggest maybe we do that.
Okay.
And then Xandria just looks at Ruby. Do it. Don't even give him the option. Just go.
Ruby will hesitate on that because while she trusts Xandria, she's very aware. I don't know if Ruby has this kind of vocabulary, but informed consent of the patient is kind of a thing. So she's
It's not
not
a curse.
loving that you didn't give him both options.
I
It's
did
not,
give him both options.
No, you said he could have his weariness healed or nothing. You didn't
Yes,
say
because the first option isn't an option.
So it's not a curse.
It's not a curse, Ruby.
Okay.
If it was a curse, we probably would have dealt with this hundreds of years ago.
Okay, well, now that it's, passed on, maybe we should know what's going on. I never wanted to pry before. It's obviously none of my business, but
let's get Ari Compass Mentis again, and he'll want to know too.
that makes sense. Meanwhile, should this be vaulted up? I don't like it just kind of sitting here on the floor.
Yes. If he insists that we remove it afterwards, he has the power to remove it. But for now, I think it's safest out of anybody's hands. Sapphire and I will be back in a moment. And he'll take one of, I don't know. This place kind of feels like the kind of place that would have cloth napkins, let's be honest.
Well, under the water, they survive real well.
So, takes a covering and, picks it up with that, because he's like, I'm not touching it. Sapphire and I, we're going to open that door, because I can't touch the door. Sapphire can. We're going to get that in the vault, and then we're going to get back. Do not pass go, do not collect $200. If anyone tries to stop and ask me a question, don't care.
Stab him. Okay, so
yeah.
Sapphire and Cass, you're going to head back to the vault, yeah?
Yep.
Selena will go with you, so Sapphire can breathe.
Yeah. She's a
Oh,
champ.
yeah.
As the three of you are heading, using the bubbles to get to the vault, Kess, give me a insight check.
Can do. That is that's a 23.
roll a d3.
That is a 3.
As you approach the vault, you don't know when, and you sure hell don't remember doing it on purpose, but the palm of your hand is touching the metal of the sword.
Bastard.
But there's nothing. There's an overwhelming feeling of love, passion, fear, anxiety, butterflies in the stomach. It is all of it right now. Like, you kind of not hyperventilate, but you're taking breaths a bit more with a bit of stagger to them, and all of this just reminds you of Xandria. Sapphire, Kessie's kind of staring at the floor for a moment, and you see one of the sunstones shining the same bright white, orangey light of when Ari attacked Kess.
Drea.
Drea. It lasts a
That's
heart.
where that would have gone if he hadn't rolled the
It lasts a heartbeat or two. Kess, that overwhelming feeling fades away from you, and you kind of wrap the handle again.
Yeah.
Everything all right, Cass? Sapphire's just like hand on neck, stretching,
No,
definitely not
this-
reaching for.
This goes away as quickly as possible.
Okay, good. Okay, you're still you. Good. Okay, yeah.
Selena gestures at the door.
Sapphire will heft it open.
Score check, you know what I mean? Kess is like, fuck it, I'll take cold irons at face. So, the vault door opens, the three of you enter. Who is singing the item?
Kesswell.
Give me a performance check.
Can do. Go down to my performance stats. That is a 19.
Thank you. As you begin to sing, there is the sword dissolves in your hand as if melted by mercury. It kind of runs along the blade and eventually vanishes, and a new stone plinth appears in the shape of a tall cat-like humanoid staring up a ladder of the wooden sort of what's the word? Not lattice. The wooden at the side of a building where it's just like a noughts and crosses, loads of them. There's a word for it.
Yeah,
Trellis.
Trellis. There you go. I don't do words. Staring up a trellis with ivy leaves growing through it, and at the top of the plinth is a young Aristotle looking down, holding a hand out towards this cat, feline, humanoid creature, as if to help them up the trellis. And sat on top of it is the rapier, point facing down but floating, not touching the stone. And the rapier just sits there and just turns slowly. The three sunstones got a shine to them, but they don't radiate. Well, let's hope that does it.
It'll hold it for now. I hope. We must return to Ari and Drea.
It's away from Ari for now. That's the important bit.
As you leave and close the vault, Kess and Sapphire, you hear the cry of an eagle. And the door closes. Back in the room, Ruby and Xandria, while they've left, as the three of you, and obviously Ari, being one of the three of you, I know what I meant. Before we find out what you three did, I'm going to call a break, because it is after 1:30. Shit's getting emotional. And I need a brew. Right, we're going to have a quick drink, folks, and we'll be back in about 10 minutes-ish. Alright, don't go away. Don't go away, and if you do, come back. Meh. And we're back. The party is all tied. So, just before the break, Ari attacked Xandria, forced or not, who knows. In some weird and wonderful wizwas, absorbed whatever illness, let's call it an illness, that Xandria has carried since very young. Ari has now been cared for on the sofa beneath the great tapestry of the Nerikai family. Ruby and Xandria are having a very diplomatic conversation about whether to, do whatever they want to do with the greater restoration spell that Ruby is currently preparing. Sapphire and Kesfion and Selena took the famous Eagle's Promise rapier to the vaults of Nerikai and put it away. There was a moment where Kesfion felt all the feelings and emotion that the sword held within it for Xandria and where they came from. So you're heading way back in the hospital room. Ruby, Xandria and Ari. What are you talking about, not talking about, staring at each other about, whilst the other three are away?
Xandria is mostly just trying to keep Ari comfortable, whilst obviously glaring hatred into his being for doing what he has done.
It's a healthy relationship the two of you have. It's really, really something.
When Ruby has finished preparing the physical components of the spell, she will... Is it the mortar or the pestle that's the bowl?
It's the mortar.
Pestle's the hammer bit, innit?
Yeah.
Yeah. So she will take the mortar over to the sort of the sofa type piece of furniture that Ari has been deposited on and sort of gently nudge Xandria out the way so that she can kneel next to Ari where Xandria was. And the sort of powdery substance that she's created, which probably I've got a bit of strength, but I don't think I managed to turn diamonds into dust, so it's probably a bit lumpy. She will essentially coat the palm of her hand with it and slide her hand just inside Ari's shirt, sort of over where the heart would be, in the middle, and start whisper murmuring in Druidic.
And do you cast Greater Restoration?
And I cast Greater Restoration.
What are you doing with it?
I am removing a level of exhaustion.
Okay. The Druidic magic takes hold of you, Ari. Your level of exhaustion drops from 2 to 1. And your vision clears somewhat. And it's now just irritating, like a troublesome hay fever. But you can now see. Xandria is more present than you've ever seen her before in your life. But you can see.
So, as Ari sort of like blinks and starts to look a bit less pasty, a bit less like completely destroyed, Ruby will take her hand away. All the spell components have completely disappeared. They're not on Ari, they're not on her. And she'll just sort of give Ari a little pat on the shoulder that's, I love you, I'm here for you. You're a bit of a dickhead. And she will, I'm assuming she can like feel Xandria behind her, like, so she'll sort of like scooch back over so Xandria can get back into glaring all the love and hatred in the universe into Ari's brain.
Xandria's presence, Ruby, reminds you of the last summer's eve before the fall. It's just a thing. Like when you were around Akari and you had that, you know, you just knew. Xandria now has that aura about her, despite glaring at each other.
So as they sort of passed, Ruby will just pause, and it's kind of like if Xandria had walked past wearing like some really beautiful perfume, she'll just kind of take a slight inhale as this like pleasant aura washes over her, but she's knows better than to be like, wow, you are looking well. So she's
probably not the time.
Yeah.
Probably not. Probably not.
That would be fucking hilarious, though.
Other than acknowledging it to herself, she doesn't say anything. She'll just scooch back down the end so she can sit. Well, she'll clear her shirt away and then sort of sit near Ari's feet, so she's nearby if he takes another attack, but not crowding up the other end.
Still got your knife, Ari? I said
You still got a knife?
Oh my god.
Finally.
I kind of like keep rubbing his, like, it basically just been like constantly rubbing his eyes, like trying to get a clearer focus, and then sort of as like Ruby is like reached inside his shirt and kind of like obviously cast healing or some kind of healing in his brain anyway on him, and he's like, oh, that's much better. Thanks, Ruby. He's still like blinking a little bit, but like not as bad as he was. And you can kind of focuses on like the two of them. Where's the other two?
No, they had to step outside.
Just accept it for now. He's too exhausted to think about anything else, really. He's just kind of like, Xandria, I'm really sorry.
You should be. As I said, I have lived with that for a very long time, and I have grown accustomed to dealing with it. And if I remember correctly, when I was younger, it was obviously a lot harder. You don't have nearly as many years. It's going to be difficult. It's going to be very difficult for you.
I don't understand.
Just get used to having the worst lung capacity imaginable. And stay away from water and heights.
This is what you felt like. Fuck.
Over a century, yes.
Wow, that's
Get used to the constant headache. There's nothing you can do to get rid of that.
okay.
Whilst they say romance is dead, Sapphire, Kess, and Selena return to the room. Ari is sat up a bit straighter than they were before. Ruby is sat at the end of the sofa couch, and Xander is still nearby Ari. The most angry caring you've ever seen. Well, I will go and arrange some things and to make the rest of the day a bit more comfortable for yourselves and Ari and yes. And Selena will kind of nod to you all and head out.
You're awake.
Ruby.
Need more rest.
It's going to need a lot of rest.
Sapphire will go over and very gently ruffle Ari's hair. No more of that, please. You'll be fine now. We've got you.
I'm sorry. I can't stop apologising, but yeah. I'm not in control of the thing.
Well, what's done is done. And probably won't be doing it again.
AD, is my compulsion gone for the rapier to stay?
There's nothing immediately trying to get you to do anything.
Okay. I was like, before I start saying things, I was like,
If he's looking, seems to be looking around for it at all, then Kessel.
Give an insight check.
Kick him in the balls.
Me or
You, Kess. Or Luke.
Okay.
Up to you.
1 ear.
Where's the rest of you? That is an 18.
Ari's looking around is more dazed from a knock on
Yeah.
the head, sort of looking around rather than anything of locating.
Okay. You'll need your rest. We've placed it in the vault for the time being. I know it wasn't of your choice, so if you insist that it be in your possession again, I won't understand, and I won't pretend to, but that is your prerogative.
I want to me to keep it. Alive. It's tempted me more than once to try and attack. It's the first time I've been strong enough to give into it. world's best place. Safer than keeping it with me.
Let's get you somewhere a little bit more private to rest up.
I'll kind of like try and shoo everyone off and try and like stand up and then kind of sway.
You'll find like a shoulder kind of hooked under his to support him.
It's like, I'm fine, but still kind of like leans on the shoulders.
You are fine in the same way that my sister Dearest has been fine for the last 120 odd years.
You ain't fooling anyone out, Stuckle. Certainly not us.
We'll kind of glance at Andrea. We can go for 120 though.
Fucking hell.
That's fucking. Oh.
That might have
That caught me off
landed
guard.
a bit better, Aristotle, if you hadn't slurred it quite as hard, and she's a few more glances to your left. Then
Yeah, my
he's
reaction,
like,
my reaction,
You literally
father
just said-
laughing, was just
you
the
literally
reaction.
just said that to
Sandra
Ruby.
just
I'm over here. So whilst Ari's chams come through, what's the plan? Are you to put Ari to
we're
rest?
we're just digging him a hole.
we'll take him up to the room that
What
that
time
Kes
of
stayed
day is
in
it?
last night.
Okay.
'Cause
So
he knows where that is.
as it is morning time, I mean, first thing you do, bacon butty,
Cool.
stab your love of your life. You are taken to many times, Sean, many times. As you are taken to the room that Kesrion stayed in, there is a large bed that they kind of, regardless of your "no, I'm fine," shove you on. But what's the immediate? Sit at his bedside and mock him, or
Yeah, 100%.
so you stay in bedside, Andrea?
Yeah, I'm staying bedside, keeping an eye on him. You know, I'll have like the equivalent of a wastebasket near me in case he needs to cough, vomit up.
Probably a waste basket.
Yeah, well, I don't know.
Wicker waste
Wicker
basket.
basket. Wicker waste basket.
Oh, God. Worst vomit catcher ever.
Yeah.
Anyway, so
and yeah, just like keeping an eye on him, making sure that he doesn't deteriorate because obviously it's fresh thing, and then yeah, just the occasional jib at his stupidity and the fact that he's human and he's probably gonna die from it.
sounds like love to me.
Yeah.
Yes, are you leaving them to it, or?
Yeah, I think he'll kind of have a quick word with Drea, just be like, right, I'll come back in a couple hours. We'll switch out because you need to stretch newfound legs. And Drea doesn't know how draining being on someone's sick bed is, but Kes does. So he's like, you're gonna need a little bit of brain space and say 2 hours. So I'll come back around then and we'll tap in and out. But I'll leave you to berate him.
Thank you.
A little bit longer.
Are you doing
Like,
anything?
He's trying his best to like sort of go back and forth and banter and be silly and what have you, but he's just like absolutely knackered. So while he's kind of lying on the bed, he's trying to keep up that banter,
energy.
Trying.
You're not even convinced that some of your one-liners. Did you imagine saying it, or did you actually say it? You're that knackered,
That's what I mean. It's more like it's very much like he's in and out a lot, and he's very much like doesn't realize that like he's sort of just been staring into space for 10 minutes, and then it's like, oh yeah, but and it like he's very sort of in and out with he's still not completely convinced that he's completely there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So Ruby at some point will just like gently push him back to lying down. She'll lean in and go to sleep, or I'll start pouring tea down your throat. And then she'll say to Xandria, I won't go too far, just shout if you need.
I will, don't worry.
Cuppa, healing spell, you know.
Bonk to the head.
Those are free.
Yeah. Guess?
I've already said what I was up
Okay.
to.
Sapphire?
Sapphire will kind of just like have a quick look over him and then kind of go, we'll check in at some point. I understand though, it's not your fault. And we'll leave him to it. Like, if anyone's going to understand what something like that is, it's Sapphire. But yeah, he'll go, and like I said, at some point he'll do his meditation. Shiz.
So you those of you that leave the room, other than checking in on Xandria, Kess, you're going to go look for Selena still?
Yeah.
Sapphire, you're going to go grab some meditation time. Ruby, what are you doing in your prep leading up to your mid?
There's not really a lot,
Okay.
it's just a very small ritual and acknowledgement.
So you're
really.
kind of just
Midsummer's the
relaxing
biggie.
before.
So pretty much just sort of like lurking around nearby in case either Ari or Xandria do need anything.
Okay. So,
Maybe poking around a bit.
let's go around the all. Sapphire.
Yeah.
You go at some point during the day to find somewhere to meditate. You find a nice quiet corner in the bubble. I mean, you can only go so far, because if Selena's not near you, the bubble stays where it stays. Every now and then there may be some folk that arrive of a similar aesthetic as Selena and Kess, just not quite as beautiful, but that are able to shift the bubbles for you on the request of Selena and yourselves. But unless you want to go somewhere specific, it kind of be localised to the main sitting room where the Nerakai family portrait is and the big table that you're all talking at. However, you do manage to find with Ari and Xandria out the way, Caspian's off with Selena, and Ruby's definitely distracted with her thoughts for the evening. Find somewhere to meditate.
Yep.
Ruby will probably have requested you don't go too far based on what happened the last time you meditated.
Oh yeah, he's not going like massively far away. He's just more out of the way, so he's not like in any foot traffic, and also like has a little bit of peace. But yeah, not far. Like people will still probably be able to see him. Even he's just out of the way.
6'6" white lion.
Yeah.
In a bubble in a castle. You're like the ultimate snow globe. So, you start meditating. Tell me of this meditation, young Sapphire.
Sapphire is going to focus on Saisurin. Now that he knows he's alive and can get in contact with him, he'll focus there, and he will put Kai into his meditation to try and reach out to him.
How much?
Let's go big. Let's go 4 points.
Ooh. How many do you have in total?
8. That's half of my total.
Cool. That's what I should have asked. Have you put half in?
Yeah.
As you put half of your spiritual key into your meditation to try and push through any boundaries or distances between you and Sarin, you at first you feel as enclosed as your physical being is in this lock, in this castle, in this bubble. And then it's as if you push through a crowd, and the scent of apples is all around you. The scent of the holly bush as you push past the apples. And then there is a moment where you feel honourable, as if stood tall and proud and in the presence of I mean, it's been a long time since you was in Vicornia, but those rousing speeches to get the troops going, as it were, when the tribes were battling one another or fighting off creatures trying to do the tribes harm when they came together. There is that sense of honour that kind of you just feel it as you pass through the scent of apples and holly bush.
Mm-hmm.
The scent of apples reminds you of Kesvion. But you do not attach the holly bush or the feeling of honour to anyone else. Pushing out of the lock and this clearly magical place within this great forest in the Towan Highlands, it is truly as though you have just pushed through a bubble, and beyond you is the sky, stars, sun, moon, clouds. It is more heavenly is not a great description, but it's got that celestial presence of feel of when when the races were young and sat round the fires trying to think of what was above them in the sky. And you travel it to the lands of Vare and the dynasty therein. Now you knew that the last time you reached out to Surin, he was at the Kith Lauradusian. You feel that you are being pulled in that direction, but then you swiftly turn right. Is probably the best you can describe it. And you head east, further into the lands of the Vare dynasty. And sat at a pool of water among a very small collection of apple blossoms. I mean, the trees are smaller than they should be. They're almost bush size, but shaped and grown and everything aesthetic that a apple blossom tree would look like, just very small. They are maybe 4 feet at the biggest, and you see Surin kind of sat among them as if in a personal garden. Their feet are in this pool of water, this pond of water that is maybe 10 feet in all directions. There are brightly coloured orange and silver fish swimming in the pond. There are butterflies of silver and gold all around Surin. There is a glass orb, with the same coloured curative liquid that you know to be the cure for the tabaxi in Vare. Sat. It wasn't in an orb the last time you've seen it, but they have a glass orb just sat at their side. It doesn't roll in any direction, and it is very picturesque. But you do see Surin sat there, feet in the water, and you can smell the apple blossom. You can hear the pond water. When Surin moves their feet, you hear the splash. You even hear the pop of the bubble when the fish let one go. It's a very, very present place.
Sapphire will go over and kind of go down onto his knees, fists resting on his thighs next to Surin, and see if he can get his attention. You remembered last time contact was difficult.
You still hear the song of the siren behind you all the time during this meditation. When you crouch next to Surin, they look up, like look around, like, Sapphire?
I'll just say, can you hear me, brother?
They get up, feet out of the water, and they stand up now. They kind of just brush their eyes off. Hi, I can hear you, yeah. What?
I don't know how long I've got. This is a technique that the sensei and I accidentally kind of developed. I'm currently somewhere in Toa.
I don't know what to say. It's remarkable. Well done, Sapphire. Are you safe in tower? And you can see Syringe now walking around this pond, just kind of look it as if you're about to leap out from a tree or something. That's 4 foot high.
I'm probably as safe as I could be at the moment. I just wanted to check in, see how you were, and see how the plans for getting this cure out to the tabaxi of Vey is going. Can it be done? Is it what we hoped?
It's a step in the right direction is all I have at the moment. I took it to the Kithlar. They looked at it. They were very impressed with it. It is imbued with clerical and holy magics that they believe can cure a disease of the bloodline or some such. But it might just be a component in something bigger. But it is definitely leaps and bounds to where we were before for helping them. Just looking under a couple of the blossom branches.
I wanted you to know that the fiend that took Sensei and the temple and our kin is dead.
They stop. Just shoulders droop a little bit. They look at the water. Give me an insight check.
Ooh. That's not too bad. It's not too bad. 13. It's not great.
As you say your bit, and they kind of look at the water. They hang their head low. And you know, if someone covers their mouth and they smile, you see that like twinkle in their eyes. You just get that very briefly, like instantaneous. And then they look sad again.
They took his key for a purpose. I'm going to try and make sure, well, whatever they're doing with it doesn't come to pass. But they're trying to bring back these 3 elements of death into this world. I say bring back. Trying to bring life to death is how they put it.
That is horrible.
I am soon heading to Darshal. If I inquire there and you inquire at Kithlar, maybe we can find some more information. You are always more studious than I.
No arguments here. Are you? And they're still looking for you. Are you alone? You with friends?
I'm with friends. I'm with the group that I visited Vey with briefly before.
That's good. That's good. And you can feel the meditation slowly pulling you back.
Keep yourself safe. These fiends mean business.
So you say. Is the druid with you? And your meditation pulls you back to the lock.
He kind of like, as he comes out of his meditation, there's just a weird grin on his face.
Little teeth just sticking out.
Yep. Proper cat grin.
Ruby Sapphire is here.
Sapphire's, yeah. He'll grin. He'll walk over to Ruby. I can't remember where Ruby exactly is, but I know she wouldn't be far.
She's not far. She's in the room, just chilling out.
Go over to Ruby, and just smiling at her in a really like almost like uncomfortable, awkward fucking way. Just like,
Oh, she has two brothers. You're getting just look. If you could manufacture solid suspicion, craft it into humanoid form, that's what Ruby's giving you right now. Like, what bullshit have you pulled? Like,
I know today is I don't know what exactly it is to you, but I know it's not the happiest of the year. But my friend with the glasses from Vay, Surin, he says hi. He was asking about you, and he'll just start walking off.
if he walks off, she's not gonna, because, you know, like, you could hold up like a neon sign in front of Ruby saying "I am romantically interested in you," and it would still probably like fly straight past us.
His tail is like swishing.
as far as Ruby knows, you have a friendly and polite friend. And Sapphire's being a weirdo.
I mean, yeah, that's legit.
So none of that really.
No insight check needed.
Yeah, none of that really raises anything particular for Ruby, other than there's a slightly higher than normal chance that she might bonk you with a stick later. It's
Legit.
So, Kesfion, you and Selena are walking around wherever you want to walk or swim, or it's entirely up to yourself. She's very calm and quiet and just as awkward as ever.
I think probably by now they're getting a little bit less awkward, at least.
Especially when you're on your own.
Yeah. Because they can just ask question after question at each other, and they don't need to pretend that anyone else needs involved or cares. So like, oh yeah, and then what happened with this? And oh, tell me about your 17th birthday party. Yes, no, just like all the like most of it is just trivial, I would say, but it's the two of them trying to build almost like the superficial parts of the bond so that it feels more real. So yeah, the daft stuff that
the small talk.
Yeah.
Is there anything that you wish to ask specifically, or is it just sibling bonding time through the day?
He was going to ask about the epilogue, but after what's happened today, he'll probably wait until before they leave tomorrow to ask that, because it doesn't feel appropriate anymore to bring more of that energy into today that there already has been.
Got to see the family tomb.
Well, yeah.
Okay. Xandria, at some point in the next couple of hours, Kess will come and relieve you of your whatever it is this
Vigil.
is. Yeah. Ari, you are more than welcome to do whatever you so wish for the day. Just do it with a very exhausted roleplay attitude.
Bear in mind that Ruby will hit you with a stick if it makes you go to sleep.
And you swap. Kess is now at your side, and Xandria is swaying away. Is there anything you wish to do, Xandria?
Yes. I would like to find somewhere quiet. And I am going to attempt to contact Malika to inform Malika of what the bloody hell is going on. I feel like that is kind of important.
Cool. Okay. Do you risk the water?
No, I do not risk the water.
120 years.
When you say risk the water, do you mean do I risk doing the contact under the water, or do I risk leaving the water?
Any and all the above.
Any and all the above. No, I will attempt to get myself to land. How far down are we again?
You're about 170, 80 feet.
170, 180. I could dimension door.
Yeah, it's like
Out.
300 feet, is it?
Yeah, so if I do it straight up, it's 200 feet straight up or downwards. 200 feet downwards or upwards, and to a northwest at a 45-degree angle, it's 300 feet. So
You can get out the lock with your thing.
Yeah.
I will dimension door out of the lock then. So that
Zabish.
I'm on land.
You appear on the land next to the tent that's still there from yours and Harry's not date.
I will go about setting up like a fire and stuff like that, just so that it's not just me in the darkness with a tent. You know, I'll try and make it look
I mean, it's middle of the day.
presentable.
I was gonna say it better not be
Oh,
dark.
it's middle of the day. Still point. I'll make a fire anyway, because you know, summer fire.
Chilly.
The one thing you notice that you were always a little bit, I wouldn't say jealous because that's your choice, but the fact that
Not wrong.
other summer fair, it's as if the flames would play with them when they were built but it never, the fire never like followed your lead, as it were.
Yeah.
But it is almost impossible not to smile at the glee and childlike behaviour of the campfire. Not in a dangerous way, it just kind of flicks and stuff, and you are, for a moment, quite giddy. But you do get the fire going, and just, this is what true fair magic is about. You are the embodiment of summer in essentially the embodiment of autumn that isn't a fair realm. And you stand out. The land around you reacts. The grass, the trees, the sky, the air. There is a very vivid reaction to just your presence.
Okay. So I will sort of sit by the fire and almost in a very sapphire manner, I will, not quite the whole yes, but I will kneel by the fire, you know, with my legs tucked under me rather than crossed, and I will rest my palms on my legs, close my eyes, and then in Sylvan, just like under my breath, Malika, may I speak with you?
Give me a persuasion check.
That's what's wrong. Should be good. I have wisdom of with you.
Yeah.
Yeah, 21.
Music should be changing.
Change for me, music. Just thinking about it. There we go.
Yeah. There is a very, very calm, quiet moment. And the fire itself begins to take shape. And it takes the shape of what the stories of the younger races would call a phoenix. Only small. Maybe the size of a wood pigeon. But very much the embodiment of a phoenix. Let's see. Soft, magical music comes from the phoenix. Well, aren't we beautiful? My true herald. And the phoenix kind of picks off the fire and flutters around you. Fiery dust just flickers about, and they perch on your shoulder, and you feel the presence as ever, as if you were stood in her throne room of Malika. How radiant we are, dear child.
It is a odd feeling.
It is your true feeling. I am curious. What happened to the thing?
Aristotle happened.
The human?
Yes.
Well done. We could do with less of them in the world.
He's not. He has not perished. He lives still.
Oh, then a gift. Even better.
It also turns out he is not quite all human.
We are cryptic with other folk, dear Xandria. Not our queens. Speak plainly.
My apologies. It turns out that Aristotle himself has a little bit of fey blood within him.
Why am I not surprised?
I suppose all of the signs were there the more that I got to know him. But it has been confirmed.
You still desire him?
I wouldn't say desire, but I do care for the fool, yes.
As a pet or a companion?
As a companion.
Shame. So how does that link to the thing that you seem to have clearly expelled from yourself, or had expelled?
Aristotle was carrying upon himself a weapon, a rapier, that had these sunstones in the hilt, and he willingly and unwillingly, depending on the person, promised those stones and the sword that person's soul. He was supposedly tricked into promising my soul to his sword. Things got a little bit heated where we currently are with, I believe her name is Selena Nerikai.
A moment. You are in the grove of the first Kelpie,
Yes.
and the Nerikais still take breath.
They do.
Well, aren't you an honoured little summer breeze?
Interestingly, so it turns out Kesvion is one of the Nerikais.
You're quiet,
Mm-hmm.
socially clumsy, but quite exquisite with a blade, brother.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I knew he wasn't of summer, but an Erikai would have never have crossed my mind. How delightful. Well, a Nerikai in the Oasis. This could be interesting. There's a flick of fire and ash just poofs out from the phoenix around you and causes a little bit of a almost, if you look squint-eyed, a few desert dunes of ash and sand. How many of the Nerikai still breathe? I thought they were all gone many a tale ago.
I am unsure.
And the castle still stands?
Yes.
Anything else?
Let's see. Oh, that demon Calthias, he's been disposed of.
Really? Quite the busy bee.
He tried to open a portal to bring something or someone through, but he failed. So, one less issue to deal with right now.
Okay. That was short and sweet. I don't mind short and sweet.
Just getting to the points that are important.
And what of the thing that was coming through the portal? Dealt with as well?
Didn't manage to step through the portal.
Is it a threat to me?
Quite possibly could be a threat to everyone.
Everyone I don't care about, whereas me, I do.
Not entirely certain what it was, or who it is. But the minute that I am more informed, I will let you know.
I know. I do, and it pains me to ask, but what is this? And the beak of the phoenix nudges at the holy symbol around your neck. I mean, I know what it is, but what is it?
That I am still figuring out myself.
Well, when you do, please call.
Of course.
I'm bored now, so unless you have anything else.
Not at all. Thank you for your time, as usual.
Stay beautiful, Summer Breeze. And the phoenix flies off into the air, in fire, sprinkles down, and your little campfire's sat there. Again, playful and flickering.
I can just see Luke shaking his head.
So,
Mm.
you are still up on the surface by yourself, Sandria.
Yes.
Anything else you wish to do?
No, that will be me, I believe.
Cool. As the day plods along, it is... Ari, you will eventually regain your levels of energy. Not a long rest in the sense of getting all your stuff back, but you already had anyway, but you are no longer exhausted. It is now the evening. Selena and Kess have spent the majority of the day hanging out, bonding. Sapphire, Ruby, Andrea doing your things. Again, not an exact timetable, but you've made it through the day to the evening. Ruby has requested your presence on the surface, or at least gave heads up that she'll be up there. She wanted you lot to come along. And Selena will make it as comfortable as possible for those that require going up there. I will assume everyone attends. Yes.
Well, yeah.
Cool.
So when Ruby told you or invited you to join her, she will have asked you to bring a very small sacrifice to anyone you may personally worship or anyone who may govern the areas of death in your culture. By small, she means a piece of food you were looking forward to, or a piece of embroidery you did that you thought was quite good. Not like a sacrifice, but like a token
So,
kind of thing.
quickly for those thinking of those that govern death in their particular areas. Sapphire, your sister. It's less of a pantheon and more of certain people take on the aspect of that sort of role amongst the tribes. Soul Taker is very much up in the circle of people come to her regarding death, whether it be, for better or worse. Ari, the Red Lady. And it isn't all about evil dead. They just govern death and its necessity. Kess and Zandria, anything winter based. It's its job.
Yeah, makes sense. It's winter.
Whilst they are tipping up around you, Ruby, it begins to rain.
It's Tower at Midwinter. I don't know what reaction you expect to that. Of course, it starts raining.
Don't need a reaction. Just I've done my bit. Scene set. I'm just going to sit back now.
So Ruby will have found an area that's not heavily wooded, and she will have found a sort of flat surface, and she's prepared the kindling for a small bonfire but not yet lit it, and she will invite you to sit sort of around it. And when you're sat, she will, probably for the first time since you've known her, light it with magic, with a short wave of her hand and a muttered druidic word instead of using her tinderbox, which she usually prefers. And while... now I've got the wrong tabs open. While scattering various herbs in it, and with her hip flask sat to her side, she will take a deep breath, get settled, and start. To those gods and guardians of the dead we show respect, and to the spirits of those who have left us we give honour. Our grandfather Sebastian Rycroft, our mentors Zahar and Sensei Rin, and our friends Albera and Jeremiah. Those who have fallen in battle with and against us, and those who were caught in the crossfire. Those who walked with you and returned, we are grateful for your welcome. And those who strayed close, thank you for turning us away. For the peace of these souls and for our condolence, we burn parsley and rosemary and give offering. To the spirit of the Yuan to Akarian, I offer this spirit, distilled in the land of my family. And she pours what remains in the hip flask over the flames, which do a brief kind of like woof, because who knows what's in that stuff. And then she'll sort of like look to whoever's on her right, like a kind of your turn, kind of.
Guess you're on the right.
Apparently, he will take out a piece of embroidery that he's been working on over the last kind of couple of months, and we'll kind of wrap it gently and place it into the fire as well.
Give me a death saving throw.
Death saving throw?
Yep.
Excellent. Love that.
Love that.
That's an 8.
Well,
Cool, mark down a failure.
Excellent.
Sapphire, you're sat next to Caspian.
What Sapphire will do is he will have unbraided the braid that held his sister's lock of hair in it, and he's not going to do the whole thing, but he is going to cut off a small piece, like a couple of locks of that, and add it in, and just a quiet, like, I'm already a bit more connected with death than I'd like to be, but death is an important part of the cycle, and everything I have been taught is about cycles. I hope Sensei Rin has passed on comfortably and is very happy wherever his soul may have gone, Gleza 80. And I hope that my sister is safe and free with her talk with the fiends, then he will like braid the majority of it back into his hair.
Give me a death saving throw.
That's a 6.
Harry, you're sat next to Sapphire.
I can't think of anything. My brain.
Thanks for giving us a head up about this, Ginny.
yeah.
Thanks.
We-
I had no idea. I thought this was going to be
No,
some RPG.
But you
Oh,
could have
no.
told us about needing to do something for it. I'm like, I can't
Shit,
think
so
of anything.
I thought it was like supposed to be such a small thing, like literally, like.
It's been 30 sessions since my grandfather passed, okay?
Like, you don't have to say anything, as Kess didn't. You can just
Offer.
drop. You could just
Yeah,
drop
but I don't
something
know
into
what
the
to-
fire.
Don't know. Please can we pass on to somebody else? Because I need to think. My brain can't think right now.
Sandria grabs Harry by the waist and just switches seats.
After swapping Ari, because he's clearly not quite there yet, Xandria will take out a few coins from her like little satchel that she has tied to her belt, and they are a mixture of some. There's like a couple of Ravenholm coins, and then there's some Saruk currency as well as like a tiny vial of sand, which is from the desert, and she will offer them out. Life is a cycle. We of the Fae know this. Spring to summer, summer to autumn, autumn to winter, and life renewed. Lessons be to all those who passed.
Give me a death saving throw. Harry, you feel a firm grip on your shoulder from no one behind you.
15.
15? Cool. And you hear a very, very familiar voice. Sit up straight, boy. Don't be looking weak in front of these, well, they're not eagles, are they? You hear the voice of your granddad. What's with the clouded mind? Don't worry, they can't hear you. Just me and you, boy.
Guidance.
Why? You were as focused as any back in the day. Quick of wit, great charm. Got round more than I did, dare I say. Nikolai always spoke highly of you as well, lad.
Always deceived when it's very close to you.
And how does it feel?
I hate myself.
Ain't no need for that, boy. Plenty of other things out there to hate. Those closest to you are always going to be a bit more vulnerable. Otherwise, they won't be close to you. Got to stay sharp, Harry. Focused. Strike swift. That's why you fight with them daft rapier swords. Bit of flexibility in them. Take a look at this lot.
That's what screwed me though, isn't it? So,
Sometimes you care too much. Makes you lose focus. Pick a couple of things, hold on to them tight. Everything else just a moving target.
you're right as always.
Won't go that far, still been alive otherwise.
I love you.
And are you, boy? And are you?
And Harry will kind of like actively sit up straighter and just he'll reach into his hat and pull out the letter that Elva gave him that told him about his grandfather passing. And he'll hold it and just sort of like drop it really gently into the fire.
The grip on your shoulder fades, and you just hear, "Attaboy," and the presence of your grandfather leaves. Give me a death saving throw with advantage. Cool.
When Ari drops the piece of paper into the fire, it will flare up and then die completely, leaving only ash on the stone it was lit on, and Ruby will take ash onto her thumb and go around the circle, so Kes was first, and she will put a small mark above your eyebrow inside. Caspian and Summerbreeze, may Sahar sharpen your blade. And Xandria Summerbreeze, may Albera watch over you as he did when you walked in shadow. Sapphire Mirabane, may Sensei Wind's wisdom guide you. And Aristotle Rykoff, may Sebastian Rykoff strengthen your resolve. And she just kind of trails, like, realises that, like, oh shit, I've run out of people. And sort of sadly trails off because it's not really.
Sapphire will step forward and like do the same for her. Put a thing on her forehead. I've not really prepared anything, but may Jeremiah continue to bring joy into your life as you bring joy into our lives. And step back.
Give me a death saving throw, Ruby.
15.
Cool. Carry on with what you're saying, sorry.
That was as Ruby gives Sapphire a very tight, slightly tearful hug, but there's a sort of a change in attitude that's it, that's the ritual.
As you all stand, calm, quiet, all bearing the same similar ashen mark upon your foreheads, words spoken of loss and death and all the good and bad it can be. The fire flicks about. You all notice it lean towards Andrea a little bit, with a bit of favouritism maybe. And the rain just falls around you. There are some creatures in the trees making small noises, birds chirping. The evening of Midwinter coming to an end, and along with it, this week's session. And we will pick up next week and see where you actually go with your adventures.
Oh yeah, we were actually meant to be going somewhere.
Yeah.
So, well played. It's been a couple of weeks since we played. It was very deep and emotional. It's been a while since I got Mel. But
You was grandfather into it, goddamn you.
You would
So-
have story plot points, Joseph.
Yeah.
So, thank you very much, guys, for watching and throwing in your bits and keeping the chat going. Thank you very much, players. It's been a while. We've had a good couple of mad weeks. It's nice to get going again. And as I promised Maybonix, we'll be back with a vengeance. So, let's get as many sessions in as we can. We do have a mini announcement. When we get to the 100th episode, we'll be doing a big live show about it. So, yay! Right. Take care of yourselves. It's Tuesday. It's hot as folk. And it's 11 o'clock at night. So, take care of yourselves. See you all soon. We'll be cyberpunking on Thursday if you fancy it. And yeah, for now, say goodnight, players.
Good night, players.
Bye, nerds. There we go. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.